Greetings, YouTubers. It is your buddy Choppadong. This is a smaller episode of Chop Talk brought to you by DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for all things DFS, from NFL to NFL to NFL to NFL to NFL. That's what we're focusing on. That is the creme de la creme. That is the monster sport on all of DFS. It controls and runs everything. It's 10 times bigger than its next competition. So it only makes sense that we're going to be focusing on that as we lead up to week one as the preseason wraps up. So, like I said, NFL, 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 NFL. Doesn't mean I'm dropping the other sports, but it does mean I'm going to focus on this. What I wanted to do, if you didn't see this yesterday, go out on Twitter, hit me up at dfsarmy.com, whatever it is, find the quarterbacks breakdown. It's very simple. It's only 7 minutes of video, and I'm going to do about the same thing for the running backs today. These are overly simplified ways to cut the fluff and find the safest matchups. This isn't your GPP narrative. This isn't your gonna win the Millie Maker, but this is going to put you on solid running backs and start formulating a solid research process by which you can then change, then evolve, then branch out and start picking up some of the better plays. It's going to make you a better player. First thing that we have to do a lot of times when we build a brand new car, we bought a new car at auction, we have to strip it down to its bare parts before we can build it into the hot rod that we want. No different. Let's strip things down. Let's get to the very, very basics. Let's find some quality running backs. How do you select these when you use the research station at dfsarmy.com? It's in the link. It's in the comments section. Of course, you'd use coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P. Become a VIP. Grab the controls yourself. But while I'm going to show you the tour and show you my way of finding these things, let's dive into the running backs. And we're open up to the quarterbacks tab. You saw that yesterday once again. I may throw the link in there for that too. The main thing that we're focused on when we're looking for running backs is we're looking for a few factors, just like quarterbacks. We want our running backs to be at home. Statistically, they perform better at home. We want them to be favored, in some cases, highly favored, because we understand that the big bell cow backs grind the clock out when we have a lead late in the fourth quarter. That's where we get those little chunk yardages. That's where we get maybe, the icing on the cake type touchdown. This is the type of thing that we're looking for in our running backs. I don't want a running back that's 20 points behind because he's going to get shelved for that third down scat. I want the Le'Veon Bells. I want the David Johnsons that get used anyway. But I also want them going with the odds in their favor, which is controlling the clock late in the game. How do I find those bell cow backs? Well, I'm looking for 18 touches. That is a statistical, everybody says 20, but 18 is actually a pretty significant number. Because when you hit your value at your price point, when you hit your yardage barriers, when you hit your touchdown, generally your opportunity is everything. I was reading an article on ESPN yesterday about opportunity. Yes, efficiency is nice, but opportunity trumps efficiency. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for touches. We're looking for targets. We're looking for red zone work. Red zone work can be found by looking at how many touches the guy gets inside the red zone. Let's scroll over and let's look at this. Of course, we do want third down work if we can find it with these backs. That's what makes them true 3-down backs. What I'm going to find is who are my home running backs. I'm going to be looking for who is favored. So I'm going to take the spread and I'm going to filter this down to less than 0 because I want the negative numbers. So there's all my favorites for the week already. Okay, so I've got my yellow teams are my home teams. It doesn't mean that Le'Veon Bell's not in a great spot. It just means that of all of these running backs, the home team running backs typically are going to have better days, better shots at hitting their numbers. Le'Veon Bell's a stud. You're going to play him anyway. Play him on the road. We scroll over here. Week one projections don't matter. Let's go to the 2017 stats, and this is where we need numbers to normalize. You're going to need a week or 2 or 3. I'll tell you something about week one of DFS is always fun for NFL because everybody jumps to all these conclusions. They think they know what's going on, and then the coaches throw us all curveballs. Some teams are running up against running defenses or passing defenses, and so they're run heavier, pass heavier, whatever the case may be. And then in week 2, everybody freaks out and says, "Oh my God, it looks like these guys are throwing the ball. Oh my God, I thought they were a running offense." And then in week 2, they match up against, instead of a soft pass defense, a soft running defense, and then they run the ball more. And the passing guys go, no, they disappear. They fall off the face of the earth. And the running backs have good weeks when everybody's too busy chasing points. And people go, "Oh crap, what just happened again?" And then you get to week 3 and you're like, "I don't know what's going on." Of course not. None of us are going to know. It takes about 4 weeks for numbers to normalize to get an idea of what the coaching philosophies are. Maybe run into some passing defenses, some running defenses, and see how the offenses react to that. That's what you're going to need for these numbers to come through. But we go with what we go with right now. And what we're going with right now is who's on the field taking snaps, but more importantly, rush attempts per game. That's a touch. That's what I want to see. Now, I'm going to drop this down a little bit lower than 18 because targets matter too. So I'm going to come down here and let's just, arbitrarily say greater than 15 touches. Because now, look at that. Look how many people in the league averaged 15 touches per game last year. Not many. But you can add in 7 targets, 5 targets, 3 targets, whatever. So let's go down even lower than 15. Let's try and get a few of these guys in here. Greater than maybe, 13? And see if that doesn't expand our list a little bit. Oh, brought in 2 more. What if I bring it down to, say, greater than 10? This is how you have to play with these numbers. And now that I've got a few running backs to choose from, these guys are not ideal situations unless they're getting targets, which they're really not. 14 plus 2 is about 14 touches, 15, 16, 16 and a half, maybe 17 touches. You're almost at my 18. And of course, it's Alex Collins, and we expect him to get more work this year. And so that 17, if it was a 17 average last year, maybe it's an 18 to 20 this year. Great. So we're not drawing super hard lines in the sand yet. So that's why I'm coming down off my parameters a little bit, but I'm saying 18 is the mark. That's what you're looking for the true bell cows. And you can see the difference between Alex Collins, Derrick Henry, Deion Lewis, Latavius Murray when he was subbing in for Dalvin Cook versus Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, Melvin Gordon, Le'Veon Bell. Okay? And we'll still sift through. Like I said, this is a very, very rough overview, a rough breakdown. But now that I've got the targets and touches, let's scroll over here and let's look at the red zone work. Attempts inside the 20. Who's getting the touches? Now, Dalvin Cook got hurt. But look, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, these guys are getting the attempts inside the 20. Doesn't mean that these guys aren't. You know, what we got? 16 games. That's not quite 2 per game. Maybe their offense didn't get into the red zone often. And that's another thing we need to sort of look at. We've got all week to look at these things. But as a general rule, a rough breakdown in the very beginning. This isn't going to, you can go add all of the criteria that you want down the road, but you're still going to come back to these guys being the best of the best. Typically. Rushing inside the 20. I'm not worried about percentages and stuff yet. I'm worried about rushes inside the 20, rushes inside the 10, rushes inside the 5. Who's getting them? Le'Veon Bell didn't get a lot, probably because they scored from outside the 5. But look at Melvin Gordon. When they're inside the 5, who's getting the rock? Melvin Gordon. He's a goal line back. He is the goal line back. He's getting touches inside the 10 and touches inside the 20. When they get in the red zone, they start handing the rock to Melvin Gordon. That's a San Diego coaching philosophy. So if Austin Eckler's on the field and he runs them all the way down to the 18-yard line, they're going to swap his ass out and bring in Melvin Gordon. So in a non-PPR league, Melvin Gordon might be pretty solid stuff. These are the numbers you're starting to interpret. These are what you're starting to look at. Down here, Latavius Murray, you can add those numbers probably to Dalvin Cook. Should Dalvin Cook stay healthy, Dalvin Cook probably sucks up most of these numbers. 22, 13s. So we got a goal line back in Minnesota as well. That's going to be their number 1 back. Okay, now when you're looking for third down work, you scroll back over here and look for targets, obviously. This is what we'd be looking for. If I take down the touches barrier, and I clear it for now, and I sort by descending all of the targets per game. Bink. Now these guys don't have any for whatever reason, but now here we go. 7, 6, 5, 4. Look at them fall off. These are the backs that are getting the work. Le'Veon Bell, Christian McCaffrey. Have you ever heard of him? Alvin Kamara, Melvin Gordon gets receptions, gets targets per game. Who knew? I'll tell you who knew. This guy. Why? Because I had the tools at my disposal to look. And rumor is he's getting a little bit more work this year. He might be in a very, very good position for you season longers that have not. He might slip a little bit because everybody thinks that, you know, he's not going to have the touchdowns that he got last year. Is he not? 50 touches inside the 20, 14 touches inside the 5. Is he not getting fed? What changed? Who said Austin Eckler's all of a sudden the guy? Who said that a rookie that they may have drafted is all of a sudden the guy? They're going to roll with what they got. As long as he doesn't get hurt, they're going to keep running him out there. He may not be the most efficient yard per touch guy, you know, 2.5, 3.5, whatever it was last year. He may not be the most efficient guy in the open field, but you know what? He still gets the rock 20 times a game. And if he gets the rock 20 times a game, opportunity. Opportunity supersedes efficiency. If I hand him the rock, 27 times a game, he's going to get his yards. He's going to get his touchdowns. If I only give you the football 3 times a game, you're going to have to be a stud with those 3 opportunities because Melvin Gordon's getting 9 times the opportunities you are. He's going to probably have about 9 times the number. It isn't rocket science. So don't listen to all the coach speak. Don't listen to all the stat heads. Don't listen. Just look at what works. Look at what is working. So when we filtered those out, let's go back to do that again. Come over here to rushing attempts. Cut that down to, let's say, just 15 or so. And then we'll get out of here. We'll let you go. I'm going to scroll back over here. I know these guys are getting the red zone work because I already looked, right? And they're getting some work inside the 5, right? I know they're getting some receptions, right? So they're getting some third down work. And I come over here and I'm looking for home teams. Boom. Down to 2. Home teams favored getting third down work, getting red zone work, and 18 touches per game drops you down to Melvin Gordon, Dalvin Cook. That's it. That doesn't mean those are the only 2 that you use, but we don't have a very deep list. You're going to have to scroll down. Maybe somebody wants to pay down at running back. I'm going to tell you that in your cash type games, in your safe type leagues, you're going to typically pay up at quarterback. You're going to typically pay up at running back. Why? Because in a lot of cases, those are your more predictive positions. The fluky ones that you got to get a little bit lucky with are your second wide receivers, your tight ends, your defenses, whatever. So what you're going to have to do is come back and see how we break some of those positions down. This changes every week. Some weeks we get 2, some weeks we get 6. And what we do is we're going to try to get these guys in the lineup where it makes sense. If not, we'll loosen the parameters up a little bit. Loosen the parameters up a little bit more, loosen the parameters up a little bit more until we get a few guys that we can fit. And we'll take those guys, we'll take those 5 or 6 quarterbacks I showed you in the other video, these 2 to maybe 4 or 5 if we loosen the parameters up, running backs, about 6, 8, 10, 12 wide receivers, and we'll take about 3 or 4 tight ends, and we'll take 2 or 3 defenses, and we'll go throw them all in an optimizer, mix them all up, and then we'll start maybe correlating with some quarterback wide receiver. To show you the stack builder really quick. Quarterback, wide receiver, and the opposite wide receiver. Neat little stack there. Can you see that situation happening right there? Can you see New England having a game where they're up by 14, 17 points towards the end, and the next thing you know, Deshaun Watson is garbage timing them like Blake Bortles used to or Ryan Tannehill used to, and he's doing it with Nuke Hopkins, and then who is the one who's running it back on the other side who maybe had a decent game on the other side? Is Chris Hogan? If you can see that scenario, then you're thinking along the right lines of some typical stacking type opportunities for your higher volume or your higher prize pool leagues and your smaller or larger GPPs. You wouldn't do this in cash games because if this game goes 10-7, you're food. So you're going to spread out a little bit more in cash games. Those are more principles we talk about when we coach inside DFSArmy.com. So what I want you to do, click the link, click like, click subscribe, hit the little bell so that you get notifications when I drop these videos. Come back and see me. If you want more details, come inside, become a VIP, and get the coaching. That's the stuff we talk about inside DFS Army all the time. 20 coaches, 40 staff, 1,500 plus members, talking DFS 24/7, 365. And week 1 of the best season of DFS is getting ready to start in a couple of weeks. You need to be in here. Talk to you soon, guys. I'm out of here.